It is a fact, an undeniable fact, that not everything in life can be changed. Some things in life just happen spontaneously, or at least not the way you plan it. However, instead of sulking over what you can or cannot change, sometimes it is your perspective that must change. I believe that it is a very important thing how we view the world in order to change the way we live. However, sometimes I feel like this is all what the power of perspective is used for, a tool in order to be content with what we have and what we cannot change. But I never liked to be content. I always wanted to charge at the unknown and yell, "Fight me," because I knew the unknown was not meant to stay unknown forever. It started off with a goal, because someday I wanted to become a great speaker, a great leader, filled with charisma and charm. But the problem was, I hated public speaking. I wasn't even fond of talking to people. Anything to do with speaking more formally than a chat or talk with a bunch of people, my hands would get all clammy and my heart would beat so fast. Sometimes I would also forget to breathe. Once I put myself out there to try it out and test it out. During my 5th grade play of Paul Revere, I stood on there with all eyes on me and I choked and I froze. I didn't know what to say. The feeling with all eyes on me, I felt like an alien on stage, with my heart pounding, everything sweating. I once tried to put, I didn't understand why I couldn't do it. I was sad, but instead of trying to change, I thought it was just fine, because if I thought about it from a different perspective, not being able to talk to people wasn't that bad, because some people think it's cute to be shy, or maybe in the future, when I get a job, I just don't have to talk to people, live in a cubicle. And I allowed myself to be content because I believed it was something that I couldn't change. I believed that everyone else who could talk on stage were like an alien, another being that I could not be. It was not until high school until I realized that changing my perspective to be content with how I was not what I wanted. I rediscovered why I wanted to become a great speaker someday, a great leader someday, because those were the kinds of people I saw and surrounded myself with every day in my club called Interact. Interact is a high school club, a service club dedicated to international action, and it was a club I fell head over heels in love for. Year after year of meetings filled to the brim with passionate students, I stood next to my presidents as a fresh and green officer. They were my role models who I looked up to every day. They were only 2-3 years older than me, and yet they spoke such motivational and charismatic words. I admired them so much, and I fell in love with all of their abilities they had. I wanted to be them. So I had to think, how could I change? How can I think like them? I practiced and tried, but I still choke every time. It feels like I'm going to die up there. It feels like I think that's it. I only thought I was afraid, so thus I was afraid. I realized that like being able to change my perspective, I was able to change my perspective to not be afraid. I had to view of what I thought was so scary as something not so scary anymore. Try to enjoy it a little. I mean, like some people enjoy public speaking, so why can't I just think like them? All I had to do was name it a different name, a name I did not see as so scary. At the time, I had forgotten that I had already done this so many times before, just in different ways. I remember it started off with my dad. I always used to joke around with my dad saying that he was colorblind because he would always call green blue and blue green, and I didn't know why because he knew the difference between blue and green. And when I asked him, it was a very simple answer. It was because in Vietnamese they call blue and green the same name. And I thought it was silly that they would have the same name for 2 different colors. But the thing is, my dad, he didn't see them as 2 different colors. And he believed it was natural to say blue was green and green was blue, because he was taught that way. He was taught to see them as the same hue of one color, of two different hues of the same color. So like you could give a meaning another name, I realized I could just give a name another meaning. Like red can mean the burning passion of someone's love, or a burning anger in someone's face. Or like a roller coaster can give you extreme excitement, or maybe it can make you want to puke. I just had to look at public speaking, instead with fear, but with overwhelming excitement. Sounds too simple to be true, and yes, you do have to practice whatever you want to achieve to accomplish it. However, this was a milestone for me, to be able to really get in my head and really take my first mental step of preparation. I did this as a kid while thinking about aliens. If they really did need to abduct humans to study us, then that must mean that they see us as different. They see us as their alien. I thought, what would it be like to see as an alien? Looking at my pink and human fleshy hands, I thought about how an alien would perceive seeing a human hand for the first time. I wanted to understand the perceptions and emotions of what they would feel. I stared and I thought and I pondered about being an alien for so long, I actually believed it. I embraced it. I embraced all of the normalcies about being a stereotypical green alien, with a big inflated head and like exploring the universe, all with hands of 3 green long fingers. I made myself believe all of those things were absolutely normal, as if I had lived with that hand all my life. And I believed this so deeply that I was able to make my own pink human fleshy hand feel alien to me. At that moment, I felt fear for seeing the hand I have had all my life become something strange and foreign to me. But I also felt overwhelming curiosity. I felt overwhelming curiosity because I was able to look at my hand from a different perspective. And there, that maybe 30 minutes of my childhood summer, I began to understand the power of perspective. With this knowledge that I was able to make the physical and psychological changes to myself, I began to apply, to change how I perceived talking to people and talking on stage. The possibilities of embarrassment, the stares, the heart-pounding, vomit-inducing nerves. I thought of everything that used to scare me about public speaking and talking to people and began to practice. Practice seeing through the eyes of an alien. I started with embracing my fear and utilizing my curiosity. I felt the fear and unknown possibilities of where I could go wrong, and then felt the overwhelming curiosity. What would other people think of speaking in front of all of the people? Why were they so comfortable on stage? What are they thinking that I am not? How could I see the same exciting world that they see? I had no idea, and how could I? This was my first time in such a large social circle. But then again, I thought about the alien. I have never lived with an alien hand or lived to explore the universe, and I had no idea why I was so afraid, and I had no reason to be afraid. But it was only because I believed it. It was only because I thought it, so I believed it. Through understanding different perspectives and practice, I was able to become the alien. I wanted to become like my role models, and by changing my perspective, I was able to accept my fear and change it. Obviously, my social growth did not happen overnight, but slowly and surely, I began to change. I began to become more comfortable with speaking, talking, teaching, and even leading. And I really, really grew to love it. And now I am the same as my presidents, where I am the president of my own club, leading my own fresh and green officers, hoping that I can be the best role model I can be for them. Who knows what experiences life can give us? Good, maybe a bad, maybe so-so. But what is not But it is not the physical experiences that matters. What matters is how we perceive them and the experiences we have, how we embrace the new, the different, and the unknown.